Good evening, guys. Tonight's discussion D. The title is America is Aging into a Caregiving Desert. Nobody is ready. Captures a stark reality. The U.S. is entering a demographic era where the demand for caregiving, especially for older adults with chronic conditions, dementia, or mobility challenges, will far outstrip the supply of both paid and unpaid caregivers. The surrounding page underscores that this is not a distant problem, but a rapidly unfolding crisis. Families, communities, and systems are already showing signs of collapse under the weight of rising needs. Shrinking caregiver pools and unaffordable costs. What the surrounding page highlights: shrinking caregiver supply. The page emphasizes that as the population ages, family sizes are smaller, meaning fewer adult children to provide care. At the same time, the professional caregiving workforce is underpaid, undervalued, and leaving the field, creating a widening gap between what older adults need and what the system can deliver. Real life strain on families. A vivid vignette illustrates the crisis. Sarah, caring for her father overnight while still working full time, embodies the exhaustion and impossible trade offs families face when professional care is unreliable or unaffordable. The story makes clear that caregiving deserts are not abstract. They manifest in sleepless nights, missed work, and emotional burnout. Unsustainable costs. The page notes that around the clock home care can cost $24,000 per month, a figure that makes professional support unattainable for most families. This financial barrier reinforces the desert metaphor. Even where services exist, they are inaccessible to the majority. The broader landscape reinforcing the claim. Infrastructure gaps. Many communities, especially rural ones, lack senior focused. Lack senior focused services, leaving older adults isolated without access to home health aides, adult day programs, or respite care. This uneven distribution of resources deepens the caregiver desert or the caregiving desert. Global parallels. The U.S. is not alone. Countries worldwide face similar caregiver shortages as populations age, but the page stresses that Americans' fragmented health and social systems make it particularly vulnerable, exploiting family caregiver. Burden. National data show 63 million Americans provide complex care in the past year, up by 20 million since 2015. Families are absorbing the shortfall, even often without training, financial support, or respites. Invisible economic weight. The unpaid labor of family caregivers is valued at 600 million or 600 billion annually, yet it remains largely unsupported by policy. This hidden economic this hidden economy illustrates both the scale of the crisis and the systematic undervaluation. Care work. Why nobody is ready resonates. Policy lag. Insurance structures, Medicaid waivers, and long-term care financing have not kept pace with dementia prevalence. Incentive home care needs, or caregiver burnout. Policymakers have yet to design scalable, equitable solutions. Workforce mismatch. Even when services exist, they are fragile, subject to cancellations, inconsistent coverage, and prohibitive costs. Families cannot rely on them, which means readiness is not about availability, but about dependability. Cultural blind spots. The page suggests that solutions must be culturally responsive. Many communities, especially marginalized ones, face additional barriers, language, trust, and systematic inequities that compound the caregiving desert. Implications. The page urges redesign care models now. The text calls for urgent innovation, expanding home and community-based care. Stabilizing the caregiving workforce with fair wages and training, and creating financing structures that don't bankrupt families. Center family realities. Solutions must reflect the lived experience of caregivers like Sarah. Nighttime needs dementia-specific support and dual demands of employment and caregiving. Without this interventions will fail to meet the real world test. Shift societal values. The caregiving desert is not just a logistical crisis, but a cultural one. The page implies that America must begin valuing caregiving as essential infrastructure, akin to roads or schools, rather than treating it as a private family burden. In short, the surrounding page uses the metaphor, a caregiving desert, to highlight a looming national emergency, a rapidly aging population, a shrinking caregiver workforce, and unaffordable care models. The warning, nobody is ready, reflects the gap between demographic reality and systematic preparedness, urging immediate redesign before the desert becomes impassable. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave this one open for questions, comments about what I just did, what you think society should do about the caregiving crisis, about people not having enough workers for elderly care or for home-based care for disabled, for a matter of fact. It, in my eyes, it takes a special person to be a caregiver. You can't just pull yourself off the street and become a caregiver. You have to, first of all, you have to have a passion for it. Second of all, you have to have the right personality for it, and you have to care about the person you're working for in the first place. If you just go in for a job, guys, it doesn't work that way. You have to care about your client. because it's your home they're coming in, it's their home that you are coming into as a caregiver. So you have to care a little bit about what you're going to the job you are applying for. You have to care a little bit about, because people people that have to have caregivers come into them deserve the respect and treatment that they give their caregivers. If you treat if you treat your staff like decent people, then you should be treated the same. The one hand washes the other is the metaphor I'm going to use. But when people think of it as just a job, then they have a problem. If someone sees a client as a money sign, they have an issue, because it's somebody's life. It's a caregiver is somebody's lifeline to get basic things done. Let's say, for example, that your client becomes bed bound, and you're the only person they see for the day. So you have to treat them like decent people. In turn, your client has to treat you decent also. It has to be a two-way street. People just, because the other side of the reality is that, yes, it's becoming a desert, but those people that are working for people, it depends on how your client treats you as a caregiver as to whether you're going to stay or not. And it depends on, and the other side of the coin is if you treat your client as a decent person, they're going to turn around and treat you the same way. So it's a two-way street, folks. It's not, I mean, the money, the check is nice for a financial problem, for financial reasons, but it's not just about the check for us people that have attendant care. Some of us, I used to be able to do everything for myself, but I had to come to the reality because of different allergies and stuff to things, that I had to have people come in and do things for me. That's a hard one to swallow also. So, with that being said, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.